With us on Live It Up today is Mendy Sokol, and he is in charge of Plymouth Energy. One of the things we like to bring to you are information about resources that will help make a difference in your life. This is the man that can definitely do it. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Donna. How are you? Fine, thank you. Glad to be here.
An energy company. Tell me about your energy company.
Well, we have a company, the name is Plymouth Energy. We've been in business since 1948. We're serving, we originally started the 5 boroughs in Manhattan, and now since the last number of years we've branched out into electricity. We still maintain fuel oil deliveries and natural gas for homes and commercial properties.
So a lot of times, you know, people think that having their own energy company is new, but it's not new to you guys. You have a family-run business for 60 years.
Correct, but see what happened in the electric and the natural gas business. The government came in with deregulation, which means you have an opportunity to buy your supply end from a company called an ESCO, an energy supply company, versus buying from the utility. Basically, the utility is a monopoly. But now with an ESCO, what you're basically doing is we're using the utility's lines, and the bill is split up between supply and delivery. The delivery charge on the bill is delivery using the infrastructure of the utility company, and we purchase the product, either the electricity, the gas, natural gas, or the fuel, and we use the utilities line, and we can provide it at a much cheaper price than the utility does.
It's kind of like the phone company
exactly.
back in the day, right? Because my dad worked for AT&T.
Right, the same breakup that the government saw fit to do. And it gives people an edge. You're not trapped by being in a monopoly. And you have a choice of which energy companies. There are plenty of ESCOs. They're licensed by the Public Service Commission, and it's probably at times it's a better way to go. I mean, you can still buy from the utility, but it's important for a consumer to check the rates. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes a homeowner's on a fixed income or limited budget. Sometimes the savings are substantial. And that's the way to go.
Now, why Plymouth Energy? What do you guys do that's better or more unique?
It's not more unique. Actually it's more of a family-owned business where it's easy to contact. We don't have to bombard people with bills. If you have a question on your bill or you need to structure budget for your budget, and pricing is different also. We find that we're on average 10 to 15% cheaper than utility on the supply end. So
and so it's your service, really. It's your price,
it's a
but it's also
personalized service.
Okay.
Correct.
And so your family's there. So if somebody calls to the phone, like, do you
right.
still answer the phone sometimes yourself too?
No, I don't. It's not that I answer the phone, but it's everyone who works for Plymouth is considered family, but if you want to get to somebody who sometimes when a consumer calls or a customer calls, they don't want to talk to just anybody on the telephone like when you call the utility. They want to talk to somebody who's pretty, knows your account and has a more personable, stake in this, and they understand what your needs are, and you can probably get a hold of the CEO or the vice president or whoever you want to get to, if need be. I mean, the wonderful thing about our company is we give the consumer our home telephone numbers or our cell numbers. They could reach us
if they needed to.
That's correct.
Now, what were some of the early jobs you had, since it is a family-run business, over the 60 years, and what has that looked like over the years?
Actually, when I started in the mid-'70s, it was a family-run business. Actually, my father-in-law had started it, and I ran the business for approximately, I would say, till the early 90s, when one of my sons graduated college. He came into the business, and about 10 years ago, I had another son coming into business also with me. They are both, quite knowledgeable in the field. They graduated with business degrees, and we have a great working relationship. It's when somebody asks us, "Do you work for Plymouth?" No, they don't work for Plymouth. They work with Plymouth.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
that's how we consider, everybody who's in our employ, family.
I really like that a lot. And the weather has been so diverse. We don't know if it's hot, if it's cold, like what's happening with the weather. How does that affect utilities, and how can Plymouth Rock Energy assist with that?
Well, everybody tries to predict the weather. If somebody knew what to do, they can probably corner the market. They talk about all these technical terms with vortexes and winds coming from the north, from the south, the perfect storm, perfect weather. Sometimes I just read the Farmer's Almanac, and they've been right 99% of the time. And this coming winter, they predict a very cold winter, but not much snow. So let's see if they're right. I still think being a weatherman is probably the best job in the world, because whatever you say, if it turns out, to be the right thing, you're a genius. If not, the wind's shifted.
Right, exactly. It was a last-minute change.
Yeah, who knows? A volcano erupted somewhere, and the weather it changed the climate. There's nothing technical about this. People don't plan on. All you know is one thing: when you're a homeowner, you just want to be warm and comfortable in your home. Whether it's 10 degrees outside, whether it's 50 degrees outside, whether it's 90 degrees outside. And, the weather, like everything else, it's unpredictable. And you just have to, lead yourself into the, economically, the best way you can, and, budget yourself accordingly.
And I guess change of seasons, this would be a good time to change to a different utility
company,
absolutely. Right? Like now would be a good time.
Yeah, now is a good time to change. Although nobody can predict, what the weather is going to be or how cold it would be. There are some people who are very comfortable in their homes when it's very cold. It's like somebody would say, I remember when we grew up, if it was cold in the house, your father would say, just put on a sweater or, put your socks on. But today, but there's also a big difference between somebody who owns their own home and somebody who runs a commercial property or a big municipal plant, and different people have different needs, and we try to cater to those needs.
So you service both? You service
yes,
both
we
the homeowners?
we service homeowners, but I think the majority of our business is mostly commercial, utility, big utilities, bigger municipalities, hospitals, commercial buildings, office buildings. They use the bulk of the energy, whether it be natural gas or electricity.
Excellent. And you're talking about deliverables, so like do you get like a pin that says Plymouth Rock Energy? I think that might be nice, a little tchotchke, like we have these mugs that have like...
we send out mugs, we send out gift cards, we try to entice people. But the good thing about our company is also there are different ways to buy energy. And one thing we pride ourselves on is if you don't like our service after a month, there are no penalties to leave. Mm-hmm. Other utilities, other ESCOs, they charge you the rate, but after you tell them that you're leaving, the last bill they can boost it up to as high as they want, and all of a sudden the homeowner gets a bill 3 times as much.
Right.
We don't hold by that.
What's this extra $400?
Right.
They're like, oh, that's your final bill.
If you want to leave, there's always a better deal somewhere. If there's a better deal somewhere else, take it.
Well, we're happy to always learn about things, and we haven't had an energy company on here before. So Plymouth Rock Energy, and go over the services again. It's not just oil.
It's
you
fuel,
offer
right? We offer fuel oil, electricity, and natural gas. We're starting to work a little bit on the solar energy, but to get behind a product that's really not proven. If you're in a low-lying area or an area where you don't have high-rise buildings, it's that's much more efficient. But I find that till it's a proven product, we don't like to sell anything that we can't either service or stand behind. But what I would like to do is, before I would get into something like that, I would put my own office, my own building on solar, and then if it worked and I saw if there were advantages or savings, to pass it along. But meantime, we're concentrating mostly on natural gas and electricity. In the city of New York, they passed laws now also that they're phasing out fuel oil. And there are different types of fuel oil that are being used in the city. And I believe in the year 2015, they have to buildings have to change or convert to either natural gas or number 2 oil, and either a combination of both or one or the other. And that's going to be quite a challenge also. So let's see what the
we
future
thank
brings.
you for researching those types of topics for us, and
Yeah.
then bringing us, you know, all of your data and moving it forward. And I like the fact that you have integrity, and so it's like you're like, well, it's got to be good enough for me first before I'm going to recommend it to someone else.
100%. It's 100%.
Thank you.
And there are also different ways that we offer customers different types of plans. And over the last year, it seems a concern all over the country is that people who are buying variable rates or signed contracts for variable rates, some of the utilities have raised up, and the suppliers, you know, when the weather is really extreme, and that's one product we advise not to take. We advise to taking a fixed price, where you know you lock in, and this way your bills are not. When you open up your mail, you don't get shocked.
Right.
So
you have money still for your gas tank, for food,
for everything,
right, and to make it
correct,
through in the
right.
economy.
But you know, it's like everything else. If you have a friend who gives you good advice, you know, on the stock market, and the stock goes up through the roof, you're a genius. The time it tanks, they don't want to talk to you. And it's the same thing what happens with variable rates. You start off low, and all of a sudden there's a spike, and you get a bill. It's quite an eye opener and a shocker. So it's better to, you know, you don't want to be a gambler. Take a fixed price. You can't get hurt with a fixed price.
Great advice, wonderful advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We
Very,
appreciate
very
you
welcome.
being here.
Pleasure to be here, Donna.
Yes,
Thank
yeah,
you so much.
good information. Maybe you'll join us again too. So
I'd like to that. I'd like to very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mendy. So if you're looking to change utilities and you need a good resource, it seems like they've got really knowledgeable people there. You could check out Plymouth Rock Energy. I'm Donna Drake. Stay tuned for more on Live It Up.
Thank you so much.